Now, in the big national story from today, in a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today criminalized sexual intercourse with a minor wife who's between 15 and 18 years of age. The apex court ruled that the exception in the rape law was arbitrary and a violation of the Constitution. The clause in question is found in Section 375 of the Indian Penal Code, which defines the offence of rape. It says intercourse or sexual act by a man with his wife not below 15 years is not a rape. That's an exception in an exception, the second one. However, the age of consent is 18 years.
In the case of a person under 18, minor, from the very nature of things, she's not able to give a free consent. She's overawed. So actually the Supreme Court must have thought in such case, the age is important. Minor, in that age, in that condition, is not able to give consent. So in absence of consent, free will, it amounts to rape. In India, for this, I don't think there's anything really wrong with the Supreme Court judgments.
Well, we also have with us KTS Tulsi, senior advocate at the Supreme Court, who joins us on the phone line. Mr. Tulsi, thanks so much for joining us on Bloomberg Quint. Now, I'd like to start by asking you, now this is obviously a landmark ruling by the Supreme Court, but I wanted to get your view on this, considering that the age of consent when it comes, to Indian laws has been 18 in many other legislations, be it POSCO or be it, Juvenile Justice Act. Do you think it was high time that it was actually raised with this exception as well?
Well, it may be raised, may not be raised. We should, of course, do everything to curb the practice of child marriages, underage marriages. But when the law itself says that it will be rape only if she is under the age of 15, how do we make this now penal? The courts don't legislate. And if at all the law is struck down, it's struck down. But it won't make it penal. It has been struck down, but I think it's too harsh on the man or the boy. Because, you see, if there is a practice, then both should be liable. To make the man or the boy alone liable and say that it's rape is too harsh a consequence. And rightly, perhaps the Parliament had not made it penal. It had not made it the offence of rape. If by implication we make it, I think it will again be open to challenge.
Right, Mr. Tulsi, but also when it comes to, the issue of child marriage in the country, considering that this exception existed all this while in the Indian Penal Code from the last amendment, do you really think that, what's the next logical step? Is it to take on, the evil of child marriage?
No, I think that the exception was good. And the exception, if it is to be struck down, it certainly won't make it an offence. If it is struck down, the defense goes. But the question is it fair to hold the man responsible who believes that he is married? And the woman also indulges in sexual activity thinking that she is married. Now, of course, either you prevent marriages. If you can't prevent marriages, you can't punish one of the parties alone.
Right, Mr. Tulsi, that's your take on it. But just since you actually did talk to us about it, I just want to understand, if you're in favor of that exception having existed, do you think that, is that because of the social fabric of the country that, child marriage is a reality, it's a truth? Is that, what is your rationale for something like that still existing?
No, the legislature realizes that you can't effectively prevent, if you can't prevent marriages amongst the minors, then that's why the exception was provided, that it will become too harsh otherwise. If at all this practice is adopted in remote areas and they actually live together, all of a sudden there are some differences and then this becomes rape. How can this become rape retrospectively? when it is realized that I really think that either the girl's parents should be made liable. If we want to seriously curb the practice of child marriage, let the parents of the girl become liable for having given their daughter in marriage at that time. If it's going to have such serious repercussions on the man, surely it must be balanced by making, if not the girl because she is a minor, the parents should be liable. They are the ones who gave their daughter in marriage.